Okay, hello everybody. I found a new project on GitHub and I wanted to try it out. The project is called cobol-check, which I think is quite amusing. It's a unit testing project for COBOL, and I thought I'd give it a go. Why not? Looks like fun. I think it's written in Java and is part of the Open Mainframe project, which is good. And so there are a lot of resources there I've been finding about mainframes. And I thought I'd try it on the Gilded Rose Kata. Just try some unit tests and then see if I can get this running. Okay, I've already cloned a lot of code. So I have the Gilded Rose Kata here from Emily Bacher. So as you can see, there's the standard code. And in this folder I've just put the cobol-check zip, downloaded it, and I've read the instructions how to use it. And you start by just unzipping it. And as you can see here, there's a certain folder structure based on the Maven project repository structure. You have a main group, source main, where your code goes, where the application code goes, and you have a test where the test code goes. And one thing you have to observe, one thing the binary here expects is that, I think that's actually a shell script, not a binary. It's written in Java. It looks like one thing the testing code expects is that the name of your app code, something.cbl, is reflected in the name of the directories for the tests. So if we have a look at, let's say, if we look at alpha.cbl, so you have don't have much code there. It just produces a little bit of space for data. And then if you have a look at the test code, you can see a large amount of test cases. For example, what do we have here? On a qualitative alphanumeric digital using to be. Okay, so it's just testing the test code here, an example. And these two example projects, there's an alpha and a numbers, they are part of the zip, so you can immediately see how to start working. Unfortunately, the example projects don't contain all of the verbs, all of the things that COBOL tests can do, but they're a good start. Okie dokie. So the first thing we want to do would be to copy the Gilded Rose program text into a new folder here called, I suppose, Gilded Rose would be good. Sorry, not there. Here. So let's make dir source main cobol Gilded Rose. Let's call it that. Oh no, we don't want to make it here. We want to copy the code there, don't we? So copy. Where are we going to? Probably this, and github.com, Emily Bacher, Gilded Rose, refactoring Kata, COBOL. It's a micro focus project, gildedrose.cobol, and we want to copy that to source main COBOL. Put it there. Okay. Actually, probably want to rename it as well. So let's rename it. Move Gilded Rose. Let's call it gildedrose.cbl. I'm not sure if everything has to be written in uppercases. In uppercase, it used to be the case for mainframes that back in the days when they, with the 370 or something. So we're talking about up until the 1970s or early 80s. I think you only had uppercase for mainframes. So there's this tendency to use uppercase a lot. Okay. I think I put it here. And now we can just open source main cobol and Gilded Rose. Okay, and let's create a test file as well. Source test Gilded Rose, and let's make a test for, if people don't know what Gilded Rose is, I'll give you a short overview of Gilded Rose. The basic idea is you have a pretty incomprehensible amount of ifs and end ifs and things like that, with conditions that don't really make much sense. It's a refactoring Kata where the code is just in bad quality, and the idea is to turn it into code which is easier to understand without changing the behavior of the code. So you have things which don't really make much, which are just difficult to read, like lots of if name not equal, HBN name not equal backslash passes. It's just a little bit tricky to read. Lots of if nots. So rather than having early escapes, you just there are a lot of if nots, and there are some things which are quite amusingly horrible, like that here. Quality equals quality minus quality. It's just not sure. I think that could happen by chance. Okay, so let's put the test code here. And our first, let's show you this, wrong window. Let's show you no, that's the wrong window, sorry. That's the right window. Okay, let's show you cobol-check running. The basic command is just, this will start the bash script. As you can see, it doesn't do anything at the moment because you haven't told it which test suite to run. You told it to run -p alpha, for example. This will run all the test suites under alpha, or all the test suites under numbers. Okay, and it runs the test suites and says, yay, everything worked. By running the test suites, it creates 3 files, and all tests, where you can see which tests it's actually run. So if I do a head all tests, you can see these are the test suites that it found. It produces a cobol file, which contains a large amount of test code, test infrastructure, but also the original code that you wrote. And it then compiles the cobol code and runs it, which is this here. One thing which I found a little bit annoying about cobol-check is that if for some reason it cannot create this file, or it cannot compile this file, if there's a problem, it will still run the existing binary here and give you the results of that. So if you break your, we'll see examples of that, but if you break your app code, then and you only check by running cobol-check -p alpha or -p Gilded Rose, then nothing will happen. Okay. Good. Oh, kein Test-Suite-Verzeichnis gefunden. So I didn't find any tests. Why didn't I find any tests? Where did I put them? I put it in the wrong place, didn't I? Okay. So move source test Gilded Rose. Let's save a file there first before I do anything. Test suite. Okay, now we have something. Source test Gilded Rose. Source test cobol. Save it there. Let's go back to Emacs and shut that and find it again. Source test cobol Gilded Rose play. Okie dokie. Good. So now we have some testing framework. Let's write our first test. Let's see first thing we have to do is get this Gilded Rose.cobol to compile. This microfocus code, it doesn't work under GNU COBOL, unfortunately. We can tell this by just going to source main COBOL and trying to compile it, and let's see what happens. Say -x Gilded Rose.cobol, it says lots and lots of errors. The main error is that it's not formatted the way that COBOL code is formatted usually. So COBOL code usually starts with 7 spaces. So let's do that. String insert rectangle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so that should help. Yeah, error list is a little bit shorter. Now we have things like certain sections are missing. Obviously you don't need these for microfocus code. So let's do that as well. Let's add these sections. Program ID, file control, we certainly need an environment division. Here, and we're going to need an input-output section. People don't know it, that's just how COBOL code is structured. Really nice to have a identification division here. I'm not sure if that's really necessary, but it's nice to have. Let's organize the divisions so we can see them. How are we doing now with compiling? It's getting better. What's the next problem? Oh, the lines are too long, aren't they? COBOL lines can be 72 characters long, and so this is too long. And let's put this here. How are we doing now? Oh, it's getting better. 28 invalid. Let's switch line mode on so we can find this more easily. Invalid. Then that should be than. Let's replace these. Obviously I did this once before. Yes. How are we doing now? It's getting better. 37 is the next problem. Yep, that's just going to be too long, isn't it? Yep, 81, that's too long. Let's get rid of this. How are we doing now? 57 is too long. Yeah, backstage passes is too long. Let's get rid of this. And 60, this is also too long. Yep. And now we have compiling code. Cool. Cool. It seems to be working. The problem now is that if you look at how this code works, it starts by opening a file, and this file doesn't exist. It's looking for a file called in items, so that's the error message, but it's actually now compiling, which is a good start. Okay, so we can now try to write our first test suite. I've done this once before just to test how the test suite works, and this we'll still have problems with this, but it will be interesting to see what the problems are. Let's open another one of the test files, one of the example files here. Alpha, what do we call it? Alpha exceptions test, expectations test, sorry. Okay, so it wants to put this over a bit. I don't think case is important. Test case. What is a test case you want to run for Brie? Let's see. These are the requirements for the Gilded Rose test. Gilded Rose stuff. HPH increases in quality the older it gets. Okay, so we have, let's read this here. All items have a sell-in and a quality. At the end of each day, our system lowers both values for every item. So if an item has a sell-in of 10, when it runs through this function once, so this code here, let's see if we can get all the code on the screen. Don't think it's going to fit. It fits almost, doesn't it? When you run through this code once, then the system, then sell-in should be reduced by 1. You can see that mentioned here. Sell-in is reduced by 1. And the quality is to be reduced by 1 as well. Yeah, there's some stuff here which changes quality, and there's some stuff here which changes quality, but this is with sell-in is less than 0, so it's turned negative. Okie dokie. So let's just make a simple test case here. Let's start with day sell-in 10, quality 5, and what we're expecting is, let's move some values. Age pre to name, that's the name quantity. Oh, wrong window. An item has 3 fields, selling, quality, and name, and we have these switches on the name, so moving age pre to name. Let's move 10 to sell-in, move 5 to quality, and then expect, and then we do a perform statement, and that performs a paragraph. Now, in order to do this, we need a paragraph to perform. We need a function. It would be in other languages. In COBOL, you talk about paragraphs, and that would be everything from where we've set the item to the end of this read statement. So let's move all this to a paragraph here so we can perform it. Up till there, I think, is good. Yep. Okay. Sorry. Let's copy this and add something here. Let's call it update item. Okay. Does that all make sense? It looks okay. Let's make sure. Let's end it here. We don't need this. That can go. Let's see if it still compiles. Did I break something? Oops. It doesn't compile. What have I done wrong? 80. Oh, it's just too long, isn't it? It's not well indented anyway. Yeah, it's now compiles. Okay, so now we can perform an update item rather than I can't spell perform. Okay, now we can get rid of all this. Okay, and it should still do the same thing. Well, we hope it does. Unfortunately, we've done some code changing without having tests. But now we can perform update item. And then we can expect name to be aged pre. That's not going to change. Expect sell-in to be 9, so that's going to go down 1, and expect quality to be 4. Don't know. Let's see. Let's remove the comp. No, I don't think we need to. I think I can stay here. Let's see if it now. Hang on. Where are we now? Okay. Now we can cobol-check -p Gilded Rose. Let's see what happens. Okay, it still can't find the file it's trying to open, which makes sense. But there's a way around that, and that is in this test suite. There's the concept of a mock. So you can mock files, Let me show you an example of that. Let's go to the wiki. I think there was code for that. User guide. Common test case patterns. Was it here? Mock a paragraph. Mock a batch file open. Batch file read. Something like that. Let's see. Mock input file. Yep, that's what we want to do. And we don't actually need to. We just want it to be there. So we mock in items. And mock is all we need. Mock items is the other file for where you write the result to. That's all we need. And let's see what happens now. It's still not happy. And I imagine the problem, we'll see it here. Yes, Emacs has written a file which is a backup file which not alpha, sorry, which is also being caught by the test suite. Okay, what are we doing now? Let's see what's in all tests. Looks okay, it's found the right stuff. Let's see what's in the code it's actually trying to run. Not cat, let's do more or something. And you can see it hasn't actually put anything into the code. It hasn't understood this code. And there's a reason for this. Just check something. Yeah, it's okay. The reason for this is that the test suite, the testing code, desperately wants everything here to be uppercase, and it gets quite confused if it's not uppercase. We have lots of lowercase stuff here, so I'm just going to change the whole file to uppercase. Oops, sorry. How do you change stuff to uppercase? It's that, isn't it? See if it now works. Okay, I think we got a bit further. Read start nicht erlaubt. File in items, implicit close of items. That's not a problem. That's the problem. But we now have a lot more code here. We're up to 522 lines. And we were at, where was it? Oh, there wasn't a line number here. But if we now look at the code for, you'll see there's a lot more code. This is all the testing code which gets injected automatically. Okay, we have the mock code. Should be here somewhere. Yep. Mock in items and mock items and mock PHP to name. That looks like it's getting quite close to the end of the line. Well, let's move this mock code into a before all, which is something you can do here. Is it before all? What's it called? I think there was an example here. Before each, sorry. And before, okay. Let's see how close. Ah, we got somewhere. Cool. And it worked. All 3 test cases are executed, 3 passed. Let's make sure it works. Let's change this to 3, and we expect 1 test to fail. Yes, it failed. It tells you it was expected 3, was 4. Cool. So I think this is a good start, and I will carry on in the next video to start refactoring the code. See how far we get. Many thanks.